All right, here we go. More data. A little bit of a doozy today again. So I'm going to save best for last as always. But leading off, we have Skarmory, first edition PSA 9 Holo, coming in at 102. We have a Dark Vileplume. There's a lot of things that I see that come up a lot. There's a Lapras from Fossil that comes up a lot. There's Dark Vileplume. There's a Dark Arbok. There's Dark Weezing. Just a lot of ones that come up a lot. And Dark Vileplume, first edition PSA 9, only came in at $60. Maybe there's a lot of them. That's why they get traded so often. I know this is the case for the Fossil Lapras PSA 9 and the Dark Arbok and Dark Weezing. I think because a lot of them are easy to grade. I don't know about the Dark Vileplume. Well, I take that back. The first edition PSA 9 Lapras Fossil PSA 9 is very common. 10 is not. 10 is very, very hard to grade. But the 9 is pretty common. And the Dark Weezing, that's easy to grade. And the Dark Arbok, I think is easy to grade. There's a lot of them, and I see it a lot. So maybe that's why they're easy to grade. There's a lot of them. That's why I get 60. Dark Slowbro, first edition PSA 9, almost doubled that. That was 112. Then we had a Brock. This one, first edition PSA 10, is at auction right now. The most recent bid is like $1,500. It's only 44 PSA 10, so that's why. But this one only came in at 107. So minimum, if we use my rule, my formula, that Brock first edition Holo from Gym Heroes PSA 9 should come in at minimum $150. If I see another one at 107, I'm just gonna snipe it. See another one, 100. I'm actually, after this video, I'm gonna go on YouTube or I'm gonna go on eBay and buy them all. Speaking of buying things and going and... All right, yesterday I said that there was a... I did not. I do not remember what I said. Either way, I do have some news for what I said I would look to buy. And if I see deals, I'm going to get it. But moving on past that, we have Erica, first edition PSA 9, also from Gym Heroes, also Holo, coming in at 57. We had a Dark Blastoise, first edition PSA 9. You know, the top two bids were 280 and 275. The third and fourth bid was 223 and 250. Nothing special there. Obviously, right now, this Dark Blastoise is hitting new premiums every week. Pretty much every time it goes up for auction, hits a new record. So who knows where that card will go in the future? Maybe up another $100. Looks like it's been an upward trend for a while. Rocket's Mewtwo. This one I've seen a lot as well. From the 9 that came in at 200 like the other day. This one's first edition PSA 8 came in at 132. So because it came in at 132 at an 8, the 9's probably poised to go up a little bit. I still haven't seen a 10 on... There's a 10 on sale for like 600. I think it's listed at... It's probably a good deal. I just haven't gotten it. We have a Forretress first edition PSA 10, sell for 167. If the 9 sells for about 50-something, that makes sense. We have an Ursaring first edition PSA 10. We had 4 bids over 240. It was 245, 259, 270, sold at 275. And I think that's a record price point for the Ursaring. Magneton from Neo Discovery, first edition PSA 10, sold for 160. Giovanni's Gyarados. This one was interesting also. First edition, it was raw. I would have given it a 9. And since the last actual 9 sold at like 2-something, or like 211, and this one sold at 152, I think it's probably a good buy. We have a Japanese CD promo. Those CD promos are pretty cool. I think there's Eevee, Snorlax. This one was a Porygon. First edition, I'm sorry, not first edition. CD promo, PSA 10, sold for $30. Beautiful card, unique artwork. Get it for $30. It's insane. I love it. Giovanni's Gyarados. This was an actual first edition PSA 8. The actual PSA 8 sold for 110. So you get a raw copy for 150, which might be overpriced for a raw copy because you still have to send it in, grade it, and whatever. Consistent with the growth that we've seen. We had a Blaine's Charizard. I'll save that one for a few minutes. No, I'll just go over it now. I have a couple things to go over. Blaine's Charizard first edition raw. I would have given it a 9. Sold for $525. 9s have sold for over 6. And the next one, I think, is going to hit, it's going to be flirting with that $1,000 price. Why do I say that? Well, because last time we had a Charizard first edition PSA 10 sell for $3,000. And if, again, minimum it would sell for 3 times as much as the 9, normally 5 to 8 times. Upper end would be 10, lower end would be 3. So why do I think it'll flirt with that $1,000 price is because we had an actual PSA 8. First edition PSA 8, Blaine's Charizard, sell for $590 today. And and this is an 8. And the top 4 bids, I think, would have been a record price. The top 5 were $430, $440, which I think would have been record prices. I don't think anyone have sold. Because last month, we were looking at first edition PSA 8 sell for $200-something, $300. And I didn't understand why that the raws were going for higher than like the 8s when they would only grade like a 7. But I think I understand now. Maybe the market and maybe people have seen that the growth in Neo Genesis and these cards like Gym Challenge going up so much, they just kind of saw the future and like these cards going up, and they are. This 8, the third bid was $513, the second bid was $580, and it sold for $590. $590. And again, using my price now, the last PSA 9 sold for barely above this, $600 something. And if we use that formula, if the 8 sells for about half of what the 9 does, then the 9 should get almost $1,200, $1,180. Now, that would be a huge jump to go from $600 something to $1,180, but we've seen those huge jumps before. So this is something that is going to be very curious for the next 9. And the next 9 that's on sale right now is you have the first edition PSA 9 Blaine's Charizard. And also with that, you're getting a Japanese Blastoise, and that is worth about $100. So you can kind of gauge where this will be. If this sells for $1,000, I think that will. But that new record price point for the 8, the next 9 that sells, I guarantee you'll get a new record price point. Moving on past that is a new record price point for a Dark Feraligatr. The last one I think I said was here. It was bought for $475 or best offer. We don't know 100% what that was. We have had actual listings for $340 sold. So I know minimum of that. Dark Feraligatr I think is really cool from Neo Destiny because there's only 61 copies. Neo Destiny typically, like Dark Ampharos, they all have very low amount of copies compared to other sets. Maybe because it's the last WotC set that had, the first edition that they had the Shinings, they had the light and the dark Pokemon, but this dark Feraligatr first edition PSA 10, I bought. This is me. Because I saw the 9s sell for like $300 something, and I was like, minimum the 10 should be $1,000. Saw it for $647, gave him best offer. He countered $620 was the base price point after taxes and fees. It was like $660 something. But that's mine. There's another one listed for $720 something, I might get that too because I think that card is so undervalued. That first edition PSA 10 Dark Feraligatr, I think right now is a gold mine because there's only 61 copies of that, and the 9s have been selling for like 300 something was the last one that sold, which is almost as sold as the last 10. So obviously the 10 is going to shoot up. Is there a chance that the 9 comes down? Maybe there is a small, minuscule 0.5% chance that it will come down, correct? But no, for a first edition, and this is a starter also. This is a starter Pokemon. Obviously, we have in the Neo Genesis set, you have a bunch of artwork for that card already. You have 2 sets of artworks, number 4 and number 5 from Neo Genesis, but because it's a starter, I mean, like the Shining Charizard that's in the Neo Destiny set as well, that's the 4th Charizard. So, that again, that's the Pokemon, but it's a starter. It's the evolution form, and that's the starter that people want from Gen 2. Now, the reason why the Feraligatr number 5 in Neo Genesis doesn't match up to the T17, the Typhlosion number 17 of that Neo Genesis set is because there's only like 11 or 10 PSA 10 copies for that card, and there's maybe I think 18 for the Feraligatr. It's something really, really low for number 5 anyway. Obviously, this one only 61 copies. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I got that for 6 something. Maybe by next week, if Tesla's earning call is good and Tesla stock goes up, and I don't want to buy it when it goes up. If it's bad, if the Tesla earning call is bad and the stock goes down, like below 650, below 600, I'll use every single penny I have to buy all that because I think that's the future. Again, that's my own personal opinion. Even though I work in finance and I work in banking, I'm not a professional stockbroker. I don't have a Series 7 or 67 license. But numbers is, I literally came into Pokemon collecting hardcore 2 years ago, and I was getting super hardcore into it since I started the Chavez Kanto project, the business of buying and selling Pokemon cards. And I came up with that formula that people use now, and I see that with Tesla. I see value. I see the future. I look at that and I look at the numbers and I know what people want because I've studied psychology before, and that's just, and also it's good for the earth. So if the Tesla's earning call is bad and it goes down, I'll use my money for Tesla stock. If the earning call is good and the stock goes up, then I'll use my excess money to invest in that Dark Fur Alligator if it's still up there, because it's up for like $7.45, currently undervalued. I don't have it right now. On Monday I will, but again, I'm going to wait. Delayed gratification, although, hey, sometimes if you see an opportunity, that might be gone. That'll probably be gone by next week. Moving on past that, we had a Rocket Fossil. A Raichu Fossil set, first edition PSA 9, sell for $157. We had a Rocket Sneak Attack, first edition PSA 10, sell for $93. I don't think that 10 is broken. I think it has broken the 100 price point. I got my Rocket Sneak Attack first edition PSA 10 like a year ago. It was like $20. Like, people were sleeping on that auction. It was great investment. There's a Here Comes Team Rocket from that same set, from the Rocket set, first edition PSA 10, sell for $76. We had an Espeon, first edition PSA 9, record price point, sell for $480. There's a 10 right now on sale for like $3,000. I don't know what the pop report is for the 10, but that's the only 10 I can see, and this is $480, so let's say times 5. Yeah, I think 3,000 would be a fair price. It would be a new price point, be a new record one, but I think it's fair. I think that is something that falls within the 5 to the 8 guidelines. I had a Dark Dugtrio, first edition PSA 8, sell for $31. Again, I love that artwork. That is beautiful artwork. It's great. That is a solid deal. Even though it's an 8, only 31, like, that's beautiful artwork. The 10 is obviously going to keep climbing, and the 9 will follow, and the 8 will follow eventually. So that Dark Dugtrio that someone just got, first edition PSA 8 for $31, is a great buy, because as that 10 gets into the several $100s, and people are like, I can just get the same artwork, and maybe there's a little bit of whitening on the back for, 5 to 8 times less for the 9, the 9 will grow because people will be buying the 9, and then that'll leave the 8. People will get the 8. So we had a Dark Raichu, first edition PSA 8. That sold for $81. Record price point for the 8. And because that Dark Raichu, that PSA 10, it used to not, or no, the 9's usually sold for like 101, 105. So the 9, I think, climbed last week to like 150 something. So this 81 actually makes sense. It's just that this is the first that we've seen of it. The one that I think is the right price for right now. Spark notes for this video. Plains Charizards hitting new record price points every single day. That 10 sold for $3,000 yesterday. This 8 sold for $590 today, which is ridiculous. Guarantee you the next 9 that sells is a new record price point. Guaranteed. Would bet my life on it. And again, that Dark Fur Alligator versus PSA 10, that's the one that I just bought. That's something. So those are that's a value price right now. If you can get a Dark Fur Alligator first edition PSA 10 for under $800, super good value, super good deal. And again, I bought one, and if on Friday that first edition PSA 10 Dark Fur Alligator is still up there for $745 or whatever it is, I will buy that as well. You can quote me on that. If it's not up there, it's not up there. But you guys have a good one. I will talk to you later. Please like and subscribe. Please, Patreon, whatever you got. Just, all right, bye.